Raider Nation, welcome back to another episode of Night of the Shield. Game recap. That's right, game recap of our Las Vegas Raiders versus the Miami Dolphins. Now, I'm doing everything I can to keep my composure. That game was absolutely nuts. First and foremost, man, big shout out to everybody that's hit that subscribe button in the past, 6 months or so since I've been dabbling back. And big shout out to Graphic for having me on his channel and just showing the love, man, showing the love to the nation. Always, so much respect, dude, so much respect. I also want to always take the time right now to let UC Davis Health Medical Center, man, to shout them out always for saving my boy's life, man. Forever indebted to UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento. Much love, much love. But to the Raiders, man, I said on Graf's show, I said that this was not going to be what I thought it was. The idea was the Raiders were going to dominate that offensive line. They were going to blow this team out. It was right there for the taking. And I personally believe that possibly still should have happened. And I'm going to get into why I think that. And it wasn't a trap game. I'm still not going to use the word trap game. But the wordage and verbiage I want to use for this particular game is the fact that the Raiders are not starting off games with the confidence they should be. They're not starting off with enough swag. They need to find their swag. They need to bring the heat early, especially offensively. We know we have an issue on the offensive line. First and foremost, we have an offensive line. Before we get into it too, hey man, if you've been rocking with me since day one, just hit that like button right now. Just go ahead. If you've been following the night for a very long time, just smack that like button for me. And everybody else can wait till after I'm done with this video. And if you like what I have to say and like where my thought is going for this football team, then you can hit the like button later, and I'll remind you later on in the video as well. But to get things started, just hit that like button for me. But man, we know we have issues on the offensive line. That's obvious. Graf and I were talking. We were talking about guards, primarily. We were talking about guards. I think our tackles will be okay. Incognito's out, Good's out. Is our guards an issue? And I think the guard position's a little bit easier to fill. We got some players that can, Simpson's doing all right. I mean, there's strength there at the guard position. I think we'll be all right. The big thing that's out there right now, because I've been watching everybody's reaction videos, and I've learned to calm myself down, and so I don't come on here and speak erratically. Now, I do want to come in and share my love for this team and my fandom and my ups and my downs, but man, I didn't want my first video to be all over the place of me being erratic and just kind of just talking gibberish. So I'm being really careful on showing my emotion right now because, a lot of people are saying that wasn't a pretty win. It wasn't what I expected. It looked like it was going to end up that way. I figured it would be 35-17. And it was very close and probably should have been such. It probably should have been just about 35-17, and we'll get into this. But Andre James is becoming an issue. And I stood up for him the other night, and I said that, he's getting the life lesson right now. And he is. And all these games are going to help him grow and become a better offensive lineman. I don't know if he's going to – I don't know. I just don't like the snaps. We could say what he wants about his blocking and being pushed back into the pocket. I think he could overcome that. What I'm thinking that he cannot overcome is the way he snaps the ball. I mean, sometimes Carr was jumping when he didn't have to because it was becoming a habit that he had to jump up when he was back in the shotgun to get the snap. And I knew that right now this year, the offensive line is probably the only hole that we have on this team right now. Our defense showed up. Do we get the sacks that we were hoping for or thought they would have? No, but I also said, and again, when an NFL football team gets blown out like the Dolphins did last week, I knew that they were going to bring a different kind of energy. Also, we talk about it here all the time in the Raider Nation. We always talk about making those adjustments. So their offensive line has been horrible all year long. You don't think that the whole week they were going to prepare for our defensive rush and try to come up with the scheme? They got Brissett in there. He plays different than Tua. You don't think the adjustments were going to be made? Now, we got a ton of pressures. We got a few sacks. There probably should have been a lot more. There were some holding calls, but I'm not going to play that card. I'm not going to play that card. It is what it is. And, at the end of the day, that defense played tough. If you look at the 14 points that they scored in the first half, one was the pick six by Carr. The other one was a running touchdown by Malcolm Brown. And blown coverage. That shouldn't even happen. But the Raider defense was put in kind of a tough situation. They were on our side of the field to start the drive because we didn't make the fourth down run play with Peyton Barber, and I'll get into Barber in a second too. So again, I think this defense for the most part held up through the whole game, and this defense is playing on another level. They were asked to do a lot today, and they were given the opportunity to end the game, and they didn't. But again, they still keep coming through. We outplayed the Dolphins. That game, the score does not really dictate how we manhandle the Dolphins today. And if you're a Dolphin fan and just kind of coming through and saying you're going to talk, hey, what do you mean? What do you mean? The Raiders didn't handle this. It was overtime. Nah, man, we outplayed you from start to finish. To be honest with you, okay, minus the first quarter, the last 3 quarters, we dominated you, man. We dominated you. Carr again, 386. An interception, 2 TDs. Look, that guy is balling out of his mind. He's over 1,200 yards for the year already in 3 games. And I know 2 games are in overtime. He gets some extra snaps. But at the end of the day, stats don't lie, man. We are balling out. Offensively, we need to run the football. We need Jacobs back. I know Peyton ran for 111, but I still don't. There's something missing in that running game. Don't know if it's the offensive line and the blocking scheme or just the all-around play. I kind of threw a bold prediction out there and said Regas would have over 100 yards, and he didn't even play. They didn't give him a ball. I think they're protecting him. They don't want to lose him. I think that they don't trust Peyton Barber. Again, I think there's an audition that was happening this week when it came to running the football, and it looks like Peyton may have passed what they need him to do to get the nod. While Jacob, I'm gonna try to adjust the camera here a little bit. While Jacobs kind of gets his wheels back. But make no doubt about it, man. We need Jacobs next week against the Chargers, and we'll talk about that later in the week when we actually start breaking down that game. But all in all, as a whole, right? This football team didn't live up to what a lot of people expected, and I knew the Dolphins were going to fight, man. I knew they were going to fight. I think the receivers looked outstanding today. Play calling, right? Play calling. I know there's a lot of people talking about John Gruden running the ball 3 times in a row. Look, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Gruden is who Gruden is. I agree with everybody. I really wish that Gruden would just, obviously Carr is balling out. That's the guy that should be having the ball in his hand. Let him pass. He makes smart decisions. That pick 6 he threw, that was all on Carr. There's a lot of back and forth going on. I see it all over Twitter. I'm starting to see a lot of people, it wasn't Derek's fault. For Foster Moreau should have ran through that play. Yeah, but then again, if Carr would have hit him, everybody would have talked about how Foster Moreau, he found the hole in the defense in the zone. He sat on it. They got the positive yards. He was the outlet pass anyway. He wasn't the hot target. He wasn't the hot read on that play. So that's why he sat in the zone. He played his route right. He needs to improvise. That's what Carr was basically telling him. Hey, man, sometimes you got to feel me. If I'm running out, you got to run with me. And that would probably be the biggest difference of how you could put it on Moreau, because Carr was rolling out. He should have ran with him and followed him through so he could ran through the play. But outside of that to me, I'm still going to put that on Carr. But again, that didn't really hurt us. Even the 4th and 1, we were down 14-0. And then the lights come on, and you started to see this offense build momentum. And now this is where I go back to what I said about the trap game and confidence. For some reason, this offense is not coming out firing on all cylinders, and eventually it's going to catch up to us, and that's what we saw. This was the first sign of it. If this doesn't wake this offense up to start coming out hotter and playing with a much more confidence and having the right game plan and making the right adjustments before the game when it comes to the problems we're having on our offensive line, it's going to catch us, man. And we're playing the Chargers Monday night, and we have to be ready. We have to pass protect. We got to give Carr the time, because Carr figures things out. The offensive line adjusts. They do it, Shout out to Cable, man. Cable and Gruden, Olsen, they're making their halftime adjustments. Even before halftime, they start making adjustments in their play calling and really kind of set up. And Carr, too. You got to give it to Carr for understanding where the rush is coming from, getting the ball out quick. There's even times where he held on or pre-emphasized where the receiver was going to go and threw it up there in advance. And some were missed, some were caught. That's a great secondary. And Carr put up 386. We talked about their secondary. That was their strength, and Carr threw up 386 again. This team is right on the cusp, man. We're 3-0, And that's really what I want to focus on, because we could talk about. I'm gonna run through a list of things that I felt went extremely wrong in this football game, and these are things that should have lost us this game. To be honest with you, started off with the pick six. We couldn't run the ball on 4th and short to get off the field, and we gave them great field position. We go down 14-0. Then we have the PI on Mullen. Mullen gets that PI in the end zone, gives them the opportunity. You got the Max Crosby late hit to give them more life and give them the first down to make these drives continue to happen. See what else? There was another one. I thought there was another big. Oh, the Carlson miss PAT. Like, that was huge. You could literally put that whole OT situation right on Carlson. That game would have been over. No, we wouldn't have had to worry about overtime. We would have won. Even if it was by 1 point, we would have won. No overtime if he just makes that PAT. But here's the thing that excites me, man. Here's the silver lining, if you will, to all of this, to all of those mistakes, all those blunders, how we kept them in the game, how it ended up in OT, all that. This team don't quit, bro. Most teams would have folded in that situation. Most teams would not have come back from a 14-0 deficit, a pick six, a missed opportunity on 4th and 1, giving the ball up on the other opposite side of the field. They put all the trust into the defense. The defense held its water through the whole game. Up into the fourth quarter, they made some mistakes. Things happened. We found ourselves in overtime. But make no mistake about it, man. Most teams would have folded in that situation. Even when we had to kick the field goal in overtime, and they got the ball, there was so much opportunities for us just to gas out at that point. And we continued to fight, and we continued to say, you know what, we're going to win this football game. I did not want to see this team win a game against the Miami Dolphins at home in overtime, having to run the clock out just to ensure that last little punch kick by Carlson at the end to win the game. That should not have went down that way. But you can make the argument that if this team would have just gave up and just folded in, like they believed in each other on both sides of the football. Carr was running down the sideline, coaching the secondary, man. They were not giving up. They were all about the fight. Prevent defense, call it what you will. There's some dogs out there. There's some guys fighting out there. They're hitting, they're flying around, they're right around the quarterback. Derek Carr's, putting up some money balls, and these players are going out and catching. I mean, Edwards had catches, Renfro had catches, Ruggs. Everybody made some big, spectacular catch today. Our big players, the guys that we expected last year to be great, are starting to show up right now, and that's just going to make Waller better and themselves better later. Ruggs is showing up big. Edwards showing up big. They're using Renfro way more than just third down at this point. The chemistry between him and Carr is just off the chain. In that last drive, he tried to shake free and bust loose. It didn't happen. But 9 out of 10 times, Renfro's going to get open. Carr's going to be on the same page. Give him the time. He tells Renfro, run whatever you got to do. You just got to end up here quick. And that's what he does. And it's street ball at that point. Renfro plays street ball, and I love it. This team is, we've seen this before. We've seen this fight before. But the biggest difference is the fight of this football team is backed up by numbers. Statistically, we dominated this football game. So statistically speaking, we should have won the game, and we did. But we've let the Miami Dolphins in this game. There's a ton of mistakes that most teams, I'm telling you, man, most teams I don't think could have muscled it up and pulled it off. I really don't. They never gave up. They believed in the defense. Gruden pretty much ran that ball 3 times because he figured out, I'll just punt it, fill position, and then Carr gets sacked. He punts it away anyway, and there you go. There you have it. That's the situation we find ourselves in. But again, I think the defense did more than enough, and I think the offense, don't take Peyton Barber's 111 and think that that's standard right there. Like I still don't believe in Peyton Barber. I think that was at the end of the game. They were gassed. They were looking for us to throw the ball. I am going to give credit where credit's due, though. In that overtime, that last drive, he ran hard. He held on to the football, and he really made some good runs and power runs at that to get us in that position to have that chip shot. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know. That running game is struggling bad. And, I could easily, I don't have all 22 tape. Sanjeet, if you're out there and you hear this video, brother, man, break down this offensive line and check out our running game and kind of put some film out there so I could take a quick zoom in look at this and try to see for myself, who is it? Is it the vision of Barber? Is it the smaller size in Drake? Like, what is it? What is really holding this running game back? Because we need to figure it out before it's too late, before Carr gets burnt out. I don't trust this offensive line, man. I don't trust it in passing situations. We have to figure something out. We have to put something forward that is going to scare people and put 8 in the box every once in a while, because the way that Carr is playing and the way that he is on page with Ruggs, Edwards, Renfro, and Waller, dude, we create a running game, it's game over. You think he's throwing up 386 in overtime? He could throw 386 in regular time. Like, their chemistry is off the chain. But we have to protect him. We got to give him time. Some of these throws, he's, like I said, he's improvising some of these throws. Sometimes he has time and he's throwing darts. That's what Carr does. But you could tell the trust that he has in his receivers. You could tell that they're all on the same page. The chemistry is there. Carr is pre-emphasizing where they're going to be on the field when he throws some of these balls up. It's fantastic. Now, he missed a big one to Ruggs. He overthrew Ruggs. But, that's okay. You got to take those shots. You're not going to hit them all. But, man, they're on the same page. It's really, really, really a good feeling, a different kind of feeling. When, the anxiety's still there, but, man, when I see the defense on the field, I'm more confident they're going to make the stop than not. And they've had plenty of opportunities. But anyway, man, my first video back, my first recap, at the end of the day, it's just win, baby. Let's not forget that. It might not have been the prettiest game. And it's funny because when you watch the game, you're like, dang, man, that was ugly. But when you look at the statistics, we played well. But it goes to show you how much of a game of inches these football games are. This is just a game of inches. It's a game of penalties. You have them stopped, and you do a pass, a roughing the passer call, or a PI in the end zone, and and if Mullen wouldn't have grabbed him, Merrick was there to make the breakup play. So it's just kind of like it's a game of inches. It's a game of seconds. You never know what's going to happen, and sometimes you do that dumb penalty, and it puts them in a situation and. We won that game several times. Several times we put this team away. And, but guess what? They keep fighting, and they found a way at the end in overtime again to be 3-0. Now, Kansas City lost. San Diego's for real. We'll be talking about them later this week. Denver, I'm not going to count Denver out. I will never count Denver out. I'll never count the AFC West out. You've been watching this team a lot, over the years and watching these divisional games. Our division games are top notch, man. It's always a fight, and we can't take away the fact that they're 3-0. And Denver's winning the games that they're supposed to win. They had an easy start to this season, and they're making the best of it. You can't knock them for that. In fact, you have to say they're well coached, right? They're playing at a level they're supposed to be playing at. Now I'm waiting to see them be tested. I need to see the Broncos tested so we know exactly what we're dealing with, and that'll be coming soon. But these Chargers are for real. Don't ever count the Chiefs out. I heard Andy Reid was rushed off. I have not confirmed that. I've heard that. I think it was through Graphic and Spotlight or somebody. Andy over there on Graph's channel. I think that he. I don't know. I have to go back and see what happened to Andy Reid. I know he's an old guy, so a lot of things could have happened. So I'm hoping he's okay. I don't wish ill will on anybody. And Andy Reid is one of those guys he's a legend of the game. He's going to go down. It's just like Bill Cowher, just like Bill Walsh, just like Jimmy Johnson. If Jimmy Johnson could have the fame that he has, let's talk Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid is the GOAT, man. He's one of the best to ever line up and coach this football game. He's an offensive magician. Like the guy's money. He was money in Philly, and he's money over here. So. With that said, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. So, again, if you're new here and you like what you're hearing, smack that like button. If you're new here and you're not hit yet, hit that subscribe button, smack it, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload another video. I'll be back later on this week. I haven't have a set schedule of when I'm going to be putting these out yet, but I'm back. I'm pumped up. Big shout out to the Raider Nation. All my boys, Raider John, Mikey, Samoan, Sanjeet, Graf, Andy, Honcho. My God, I don't want to leave anybody out, man. There's so many cool people. My boy Watts, much love to you and all your prayers, brother. And you've had my back through the last 3 weeks. I appreciate you. Mikey, I appreciate you. Man, just keep this going, guys. Keep this going. I'm excited to be back. I got to get back into the flow of talking Raiders to a mic, but I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. I love the fight of this football team. We've seen it before, but this time there's a fight with some real ballers behind it. There's some dogs, man. They're fighting hard. They're fighting hard because they're good. And they're not letting, any other time we would have lost these games by now. But this team, this defense, I'm so excited for this defense. So we got to check in on Merrick. We got to check in on Mullen. Hopefully that's not going to be a situation, but we should be getting some players back soon. Clinton Dix might have to step up a little bit. We'll see. Arnett, we'll see. He's a guy that I know. He hasn't shown me enough yet, but he might have to be put on that spotlight again, so we'll see. But anyway, Raider Nation, much love. We're 3-0. What a great start. Don't get overhyped yet, but, man, stay positive. Keep pushing through. Keep pounding that table. Keep screaming, Raiders! And I'll see you in the next video. Night.